Today is the day we can finally dump our potato bins over and harvest our potatoes. So let's go. What I'm gonna use today to do this is a dolly and my kids' pool. We planted these inside in our house, I believe in March. Don't mind my chickens over there. So these guys have been growing since March time. I just had an old bag of potatoes that I cut the eyes of, and we started growing them in the dirt inside, and then I moved them out here in about late April, early May. I will link that video below so you guys can check that out to see how we actually did that process. But I think these are gonna be pretty heavy, so I need the dolly for this. These potatoes have started becoming yellow and falling down for about 2 weeks now, so that's kind of the sign I know to take them out. We'll see. I kind of dug in here last week and there was a really tiny one, so hopefully there's some bigger ones down at the bottom. I think this is gonna be pretty challenging, so we'll see how it goes. The reason I have the pool is because I don't want to get dirt all over our yard, and then this way it's easy. I can just spread it around to grab all the potatoes out of there. All right, here we go. The one thing I'm already seeing is it was a really wet June in Wisconsin, so you can already see that some of these potatoes at the very bottom rotted out, but let's see what we got. Okay, here's some really little ones. Okay, these look good, right? These are nice. Look at these, beautiful. Some of these are really nice and big, which is great. So I'm hoping I didn't do this too early. I have 3 more barrels, so we can always wait and see. This is a very nice one. All right, let's do barrel number 2. This one looks a little more promising. Right away, we got some nice big ones. You guys, the mosquitoes and the humidity are just horrific. So these are pretty nice. Now that's a grocery store looking potato. Ooh, another one. A worm. I'm gonna go feed this to the chickens quick. So here's our harvest from the 2 barrels. So this one and this one. We still have 2 more over here, but I have to hill these, which is fine because I can just use the dirt from that pool over there. Definitely won't be as much in these. We just didn't have as much potato growth, but last year we actually did the potatoes here, and I kind of feel like we had better luck with it, to be honest, but I still like the easiness of the potatoes in a barrel. I don't feel like you damage the potatoes either, since you don't have to necessarily dig for them. You can just kind of move your hands around. But let's move on to the next step with these. These are all of the potatoes that we got from the 2 barrels this year. I'm just gonna kind of wipe any excess mud on here. I'm not gonna scrub or wash or do anything like that because we want the outsides to get nice and strong so they can last for a little while. There's not that much, so I don't suspect this lasting more than a month, but if we needed to for some reason, you know, we could do that. But we're gonna put these in the basement and let them get hard, so let's go do that. Okay, so we're downstairs in my basement. This is actually the greenhouse I use for the springtime with all my other plants, but I thought it would be perfect to let the potatoes dry out essentially and create that really tough outside. And we're gonna let them stay down here in the basement for about 1 to 2 weeks, and it's cool down here, which is perfect. We wanna keep these away from warm conditions, sunlight, anything like that. Another thing, they kind of went away now, but when I first pulled these potatoes out of the barrel, they had little white pores on them. You can't really see them anymore, but I was a little concerned about it, but I looked it up and they're called lenticels. Google that if you need to. But what it means is they were in really wet conditions. So I'm glad I did get them out when I did, because they were probably on their way to start rotting. It just means they were trying to get more oxygen, and they're essentially pores, so they're just trying to breathe more. Like I said, it was a very wet June and beginning of July, but I think what I would do next year is definitely put a lot more drainage holes on the bottom and around. I think that's what we were probably missing, but either way, I saved them when I did, thank goodness. So I'm just gonna set these out and let them dry. Okay, so these potatoes are ready to be used, but they are gonna cure here for about 1 to 2 weeks. After that, they can start going into the long shelf life. Like I said, if we had a bunch of these, I would do that, but these are gonna be gone with our family. We're a family of 5, so these will be gone pretty quickly. But if you do have a bunch of potatoes, what you can do is you can essentially look through them to make sure there's no soft spots or anything like that. Then you're gonna put them in an area that's like 38 to 40 degrees, like a root cellar, a basement, something like that, but also high humidity. So keeping them in a cardboard box or a burlap sack is gonna keep them in pristine condition. And then throughout like the winter or fall, just continue to check your potatoes to make sure there's no soft spots or anything like that. But thank you guys so much for watching. It was quite a journey, so thank you for coming along with me. I'm no potato expert, but it's been fun to try the potatoes. They're my favorite crop to grow in our garden, and every year we're learning, so it's just fun to try the different methods. But don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.